Hey Baltimore, this episode we have Feather and Flask in the lounge, a folk groove band out of Havre de Grace. They've got jam energy, deep harmonies, they host a local open mic night, and they've been making moves around the Maryland music scene, playing at venues like Stages Music and Arts and Elkton Music Hall. We'll talk about their local roots, band life, and what's fueling their sound lately. And don't go anywhere after the conversation. They're playing 5 live tracks you'll definitely want to hear. Oh yeah, welcome, welcome Baltimore. Another episode of Sanity Lounge here. We have a band that I kind of think I first started talking to you like last summer. Mm-hmm. We have Feather and Flask. We have Shelby. We have Jack. We have Lisa, and we have Chad. We just saw them play. You guys will have to wait till the end unless you fast forward, which we don't like when you do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
But you guys you met and exceeded my expectations of what you would be. Yes. You guys are my kind of music. You remind me of like bands we used to see back in the day at the Bank. Right. If you guys are familiar with that place.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was literally a bank that was just gutted, and they just had live music there. This was
it was in downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, downtown.
That sounds awesome.
But there was a band called Splintered Sunlight that we used to see like every single week.
Who are
there.
still around?
They're still
I believe.
active. Yes.
Yeah, but
so
I don't know.
Deep Banana Blackout.
Deep Banana Blackout. So yeah, welcome guys. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, you guys are right up our alley. I'm so excited to meet you. I had heard you guys on Spotify, never seen you in person or live, so it was wonderful. And I'm going to start with Miss Lisa because
I knew he was going to do
I'm not exactly sure if you've gotten the memo, but I am a deep dive drum kind of guy, and you show up with this style and set that is unique. And so talk to me about that if you would, please.
Yeah. So I use a pan drum. It's tuned to A.R. Kane's scale. It sits in a wicker basket. That's a llama.
Right.
And it's just a wicker basket
It's
from
amazing.
Target that happened to just perfectly hold the pan drum. It was two separate things.
Hold on, and it's my fault. Let me back up here real quick. Talk to me about your history with the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Well, my dad is a drummer, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started sitting on his lap playing, believe it or not, Under the Table and Dreaming by Dave Matthews Band.
Wow.
I was a big
Carter
Beaufort gal at like age 3, sitting on his lap, and he would hold my hands and we'd, mess around. So it started there, and then my mom she was a music teacher. So I've been surrounded by music my whole life. My uncle was also the director of the Congressional Chorus in Washington, D.C. So he would do like the tree lighting ceremonies and all that stuff.
Right.
But drums was actually not my first instrument. I started with the violin, and then I moved to piano, and then I was a dancer. So I've always had rhythm.
And did you stick with like pianos? Like, are you an accomplished or like?
Yeah, I can play. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
yeah, I can
good
play
for
keys.
you.
What kind of dancer?
A ballerina.
Really?
Yeah, I was a ballerina.
Not now though.
No, not now.
Can you still do it?
Too old. Oh, sure, yeah.
Like you could get up on your toes?
Oh, yeah.
Like right now?
Yeah. You want to do it right now?
Easy,
Do it right now.
well,
There you go.
let's
The
go.
peep toe.
Exclusive.
Right on the tippy
That's
toes.
crazy.
Yeah. You never
It's
lose
always
it.
impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, like rhythm and groove was just kind of always there
Right.
for me. And when I was a teenager, I got back into drums. I actually did jazz drum lessons, was like where I started. And then I just kind of ventured off on my own from there.
And then back to the kit, did you piecemeal that together? Or
Oh, yeah.
were you like, this is what I want?
Nope, it all just kind of unfolded.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Did you just keep adding things like one by one?
Yeah.
And then you added something and removed something?
Yeah.
Now, full disclosure, you and Mr. Jack here are married, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so good deal for those at home, just so you know. That,
To each other.
Right, to each other, to be clear.
To be clear, right.
To each other. Now, Jack, you have a saucy style to yourself. You guys, the whole band is, you know, and this is a good thing, is like a roots dead type band, but you have a little rusted root.
Yeah.
You've got a little, you know, uniqueness, and
But
so
your own thing.
right. So what's your history with this kind of music? Like, when you were growing up, what was your musical influences?
Oh, well, that's weird, because I didn't really start listening to my own music until I was pretty much in high school, but my dad collected 45s.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because he's like, well, I don't want to, you know, if I don't like all the songs in the album, why would I buy the whole album? So, like, I just grew up listening to, like, all of his favorite things that he picked, you know, throughout the years. And then, yeah, like, I don't really have any musicians in my family. My great-grandfather, he played ukulele, but that's about it. And
But what was you, like, musically, what were you into, like, when you were in high school?
oh, in high school, well, my first love was, like, My Morning Jacket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then, like, all the indie, like, the whole indie rock, like, revival thing, like, started happening when I was going to high school. So, like, Fleet Foxes, Band of Horses.
Nice.
Let's see what else, you know, like the Grateful Dead, and, yeah.
I should also mention here that me and Jack have a bit of an interesting history.
Oh, yeah?
Wait, real quick, let me just tell you this. For those listening, this band pulls up, and this cat Jack gets out of the car, and Woe Davis, you know, says, hey, I haven't seen you since
No, he got out and said it's been 10 years.
But since you crashed.
Well, yeah, since I rear-ended the Porsche.
Since I rear-ended the Porsche. I said, holy shit.
Sprinter Gramophone Mercedes.
It's incredible.
So me and Jack worked together at Gramophone. We installed home theaters and shit together.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Partners.
What I've been meaning to ask you, the fact that you're here probably means that I wasn't, but was I a dick?
No.
Because I was a dick to a lot of my
Listen,
no.
Jack, right when he said...
I think me and you were like the only... I think me and you got along, and I think you're like the only one that I got along with at that entire, other than the other guys like Rich and those guys.
Yeah.
So look,
but like the dudes that worked with me.
You guys are on your way here, and he goes, I used to work with this guy. I'm like, well, were you a dick to him? Because I know that he can be like a dick, and he goes, I don't think so. I said,
I was like, we got along.
Yeah,
and I'm out of that shit.
But
anyway,
as far as the
great.
guitar goes, though, Jack, when did you start playing the guitar?
When I was 15.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I tried playing drums because my best friend growing up, he was in like jazz drum class and stuff, and I was like, I want to try to play something. So I tried playing drums, and I'm like, no, that does not work for me. But then my aunt bought me a guitar, and I started taking lessons up at Hunt Valley Music, and I took lessons there pretty much before I started working at Gramophone.
Yeah, I remember I think you were doing some like open mic things when you worked there.
Yep.
And vocally, did you always sing, or were you just...
No, so after like maybe like a year and a half, 2 years of playing guitar, my teacher was like, I guess he just saw something in me. He's like, have you ever tried singing? I'm like, no. And so I took like some vocal lessons and then like started singing, and then that like took over. I was like, well, I can play rhythm guitar and chords and I know all that stuff, but like I was like, oh, I want to like pursue singing more. So that kind of became my musical interest, and I tried to hone that as well as I could, and started going to open mic nights when I was like 17 up at High Tops. So they'd be like, you can't come in. I'm like, I'm not going to drink, just let me play, you know? And I just kept going, and yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Nice.
They still have those. Like when we were just in High Tops not long ago, and they were setting up for their open mic night.
Right.
Yeah, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Miss Shelby, let's talk about your history with the instrument.
Well, bass, I decided I was going to start playing bass when I saw them playing together as a duo at a little brewery out, what was it, like Westminster? Some German bar. And I was just sitting there, and I'm like, they need bass. So I bought a bass online.
They need bass.
They need that. So I got my first bass, but I got little hands. So then I decided full scale, maybe not yet. So I got a little, what I play now, it's like a 28-inch scale.
But wait,
tiny
hold on, Miss
acoustic
Shelby.
electric.
You played an instrument before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, what do you mean? You just decided you were going to play bass?
What did you
For
play?
them. I played guitar first. I remember being 3 years old listening to the Beatles 1 compilation in the car with my mom, and it just created such vivid pictures, and I just fell in love. I felt like swallowed whole by the thing. So all I wanted to do was play guitar along to the songs. So when I was 14, I got a guitar and started learning that. And then I was like, they need bass. So I bought a bass.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chad.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, I'm going to read you my note as I'm watching you guys. I wrote, Guitar Guy Chad, tasty licks.
Tasty licks.
Hold on. The most reasonable volume guitar guy I've ever heard in my life.
We
I'll
worked
take
really
that.
hard to get there.
I'm serious.
It's been a journey.
I've never in my life, like, and I'm not saying that as a pejorative. Like, I'm saying that as like I've never, like, you're doing tasty shredding with nice tone, and it's not, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and for a minute I'm like, is that Wheel? It can't. I mean, Wheel's a great producer, but it also has to be, your control. And so, kudos, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, really
Appreciate
unique style.
I
loved
get
it.
that now that you say that.
Yeah, because it was weird.
100% agree.
And it's perfect for the whole style of the band because it's that roots rock vibe. She's got the whole, the drums a little bit off center. It's a little bit, lower end. So you guys got to keep your volume under control, and it's perfect. I mean, I really dug it, dude.
Thanks, man.
So what are your influences guitar-wise?
I guess we're really Jerry Garcia is probably the number one.
Nice.
I got into that. I was a big rap guy kind of when I was.
I can tell.
When I was like in the 7th, 8th grade, and then into high school. Then I heard I think it was String Cheese Incident,
Nice.
and I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff. Like, what are they doing? It doesn't seem like they're planning any of this. What is it? And I realized, it was kind of improv, and I sort of got sucked into that. When I was at that concert, kind of tailgating and stuff, there was this hippie walking around with CDs of Grateful Dead shows, like Dick's Picks that were like burned CDs and things like that. So I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Started digging into that big time. And then I went over to Spain, lived there my junior year, and I had a CD case of music. And this
Why?
A foreign exchange student kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm thinking as one does, you just go to Spain.
The opportunity presented
Yeah,
itself.
well, that's
I was like,
fun.
let's
So
do it.
wait, did you know, let's hover there for a second.
You went and lived with the family.
I lived with a host family.
In a foreign country
In a
when you
foreign
were
country.
in 11th grade.
Yeah.
And did you
junior
know
year.
the language?
I knew as much as as a sophomore. Like Spanish 2 or whatever it was. I think I got like a B- barely. So
0.
Not much. But you learn a lot once you're there and stuff, and you're like immersed in the culture.
Right. That had to be a
But
wild experience.
It was one of the best years, of my life. But while I was there, I had like a CD case of music. I didn't have much to go on, but I had all those Grateful Dead CDs,
Nice.
and so I just was like constantly listening to it. And I didn't play guitar at that point, and got back my senior year, and I noticed a lot of my friends had kind of picked up the guitar, and they were, like doing some pretty cool songs, playing like Dave Matthews Band, things like that, and I was like, this is really cool. I want to like try this out, and just kind of started plucking away and playing with friends, and one thing led to another.
This is a little risky question, but how old are you cats? Like, let's go down
I'm the
line.
oldest. I'm 39. I just turned 39.
39,
Yeah.
you're the oldest. Miss Lisa?
I'll be 38 next week.
All right, you look
38.
wonderful. Sir?
33.
33, all right, Miss Shelby?
26.
26, all right.
Yeah,
She's the
that's a
baby.
wide range.
Yeah, that is a wild
It is,
range.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love that, how you came to the guitar at a late age, and your Jerry, I mean, that goes back to the lick thing. It's just tasty, very Jerry-esque licks,
Thanks,
now
man.
that you mention it.
So, tell me, how did you guys? How long have you guys known each other? Have you been friends for a while? I guess I'm going on with the origins of the band. How did you come up and get together? I know you saw them in a German bar in Westminster and decided they need bass.
So actually, me and Shelby go furthest back.
Okay.
We've known each other 10 years now.
10.
I hired her at Vans. We used to work at Vans together,
nice.
and I hired her. And that was 10 years ago, which is really weird. Because you're 26
Don't
now, and you were
remind me.
16.
I was just saying,
yeah,
holy
right,
shit,
yeah.
you were like 16.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
your first job?
Wow.
Third job?
It was up there.
Wow. All
So
right.
yeah, me and her we started in like a professional relationship, but we always vibed together. And
Yeah.
then after we both like parted ways from that company.
Let's go to some shows. Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
started
had
hanging
you
out.
guys had rhythmic discussions? Like, were you guys aware you were musicians at that point and stuff, or?
I mean, I can't help but talk about music and have it playing when like
Right.
the doors are shut and stuff. Just be like, oh, I like that song.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, send me stuff. Yeah.
And then we met.
Yep.
How did that happen? If you don't mind.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay.
you
So
try it.
I was working at this farm, and I like got hurt or whatever. So I was on workman's comp. So I was going to like the Sean Boland's open mic night. Like I was going to all the open mic nights like every day.
Right.
For like months. And I'm at the Sean Boland's open mic night, and I'm playing Windshield by Green Sky Bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this girl in like the back near like the bathrooms in the corridor, and like she's like, go like this. I'm like, oh, someone knows this song. You're cool. And yeah, I finished the song or whatever, and I like wasn't drinking at the time, and I was like, all right, well, you know, I'm like, I don't see anybody here, and I'm like, well, I'll see you guys later, so maybe I'll get an early night. And I drive home, you know, it's like 20 minutes. My parents live in Phoenix, Maryland.
Did she follow you?
So no. Meanwhile, on his drive home, he got up and played that song, which is like my favorite song by Green Sky Bluegrass. I love it so much. And I turned to Harry, the bartender, and I was like, who is that? Like, he's so gifted, just such raw talent. And all I wanted to do was just tell him like what a great job he did, because you know it's an open mic night.
Sure.
And I feel like a lot of times like you go out and you have the cojones to do that kind of thing, and like you don't
It's
think,
a thankless thing.
yeah, people
Right.
aren't paying attention or whatever, and like I just really was like very moved by his performance. I wanted to tell him, but
And you thought he was dreamy.
yes, I did. And then I said to Harry, the bartender, and you can ask him. You just saw Harry earlier today.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I said, Harry, that's my soulmate. Who is that guy?
Wow.
I was before I ever even spoke to him. I said,
Wow.
that is my soulmate. I need to know who that is. What's his name? And they said his name's Jack, because he left and I didn't even get to tell him like how great I thought he did. And I was like, I just want to find him and like tell him that I think he's great and keep doing what you're doing. And then legit the whole bar, while this man's just driving home, doesn't even know this is happening. The whole bar is like, you know, networking and crowdsourcing, trying to figure out his last name, and they're like, "We got him! We found him on Facebook."
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I found him, and I messaged him, and I said something like, "Hey, I just saw you perform at open mic night, and I just wanted to tell you you're really good, and you know, keep it up," or you know, something just like nice and generic, but nothing crazy. And he messaged me back, and he's been messaging me back ever since.
Yeah.
So how long have
love
you been
that.
married now?
Oh, was it 20?
All right, the reason it's a difficult question is because it was a COVID wedding, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we've had like
So there's
50
years
anniversaries.
that
It's been like
passed by.
8 years. We've been together for like 8
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So like 6. Married? No, 7 years married. Yeah.
5.
5?
Do you know what day?
It was April 23rd, 2020.
Yeah, we had
Three?
multiple dates, and then COVID like happened
it,
the
yeah.
week of our wedding, and we were like, well, now we have to like, when are we getting married?
March 22nd, 2020 was like our original wedding date.
Wow.
That's
yeah,
such a great
crazy.
story, though.
Yeah.
Like, what a great fucking tale. Like,
Yeah,
you
that is.
know, I mean, that's good shit.
It gets even weirder because when I first met Lisa, we hung out like the next day, and I knocked on her door. I drove out to Havre de Grace, and we were like hanging out. She made me some coffee, and like she was like singing, and I was like, "Were you at this festival in West Virginia, like in like 2016 or something?"
14 maybe.
14?
while
Yeah.
ago.
And I realized, like, I saw Lisa play Camp Barefoot with the Nth Power. She was playing violin and singing with them. And I had this vivid memory that this girl I was dating at the time, like, we were both watching her play, and we're like, wow, she's, like, really good. And, like, I saw her first, like, big gig, like, ever.
And you didn't know. Right.
Yeah, before we like even met, and we actually were at the similar shows like throughout like this time. So
We were
then
both
it like
at
all
Marcus King New Year's Eve.
yeah,
And that was like 2 weeks before we met.
yeah.
That has soulmate vibes.
Yeah, man.
100%.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that kind of shit.
It was crazy. I was like, oh, whoa.
Right.
So where did you come from?
This is actually the best part of the story.
All right.
Because I don't know if you've noticed his accent, but
Yeah.
he is not from Balmer.
I don't know.
I'm from Wisconsin originally. I lived
Okay.
in Chicago and worked there, corporate guy, insurance for like 10, 11 years.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, and so like it was over COVID. I started to sort of like wonder what I was doing at this job that I hated. So quit basically, and long story short, and spent that summer kind of soul searching, figuring out what my next move was going to be.
Right.
Had a house to sell still and things like that, but I went to a festival in the North Woods of Wisconsin, a Goose concert.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a Goose, like 2 or 3 day festival with a couple friends, and I didn't know these guys. Jack had purchased some merch, like lot merch. My old friend made lot merch for Goose, and you ordered something, and like we got to talking, and you said that you played music and you were there with your wife, and so I was like, hey, can I bring my guitar down later and jam with you guys? So, you know, we're by the campfire later, jamming and kind of clicking, and it's seeming like it's, you know, like...
Now, had you been in a bit, you came to the guitar your senior year or whatever, this is corporate, you were a corporate raider for 10 years or whatever. At this point, had you played in many bands or anything
No,
like
never,
that?
was never in a band, jam with friends.
Nice.
Mostly like, for like the 3 or 4, like when I turned about 30, I got pretty serious into like, wanting to learn more of the theory and not just, you know, and like singing songs, but then I was like, I kind of like doing lead stuff, so I had like a pedal that I would have, you know, a little looper pedal, and then like I ended up getting like a drum pad because I didn't have a drummer.
Right.
So I had my one-man band in my basement, and but then I met these guys, and, you know, I'm like, oh, he can sing and play guitar, and she's killing it on the... You had your pan drum and your buffalo drum.
He said she's killing it on the llama.
Yeah, the llama didn't exist yet. It was still forming at that time.
Well,
right?
I couldn't bring it to Wisconsin.
That's what it was. Yeah. But so we jammed by the fire, and like I looked up at one point, and there was kind of a lot of people there, enjoying themselves. It seemed like, I'm like, this seems like a really good fit. I don't know. We just clicked. It just meshed like from the get go. And I'm like, well, I'm sort of transient coming up here soon. Once I sell my house, I got to come visit you guys, and we should jam. And so a couple months later, ended up selling the place and put all my stuff in storage, besides like what I could fit in my Volvo, and drove out to Maryland from Chicago to visit. And
Holy
He's still
shit.
here.
and I never left. And
That's
like,
a great fucking...
That is
I
a great
love you
story.
guys. What a great story, man.
the crazy thing, though, is that they had a roommate that was moving out, and my Airbnb expired like the day before he moved out. The room was all of a sudden open. And I was like, well, this obviously,
Can I hang?
obviously, if you'll have me, let's do this,
that's
you know.
awesome.
And then we just kind of started jamming and.
Yeah, see, that's even some old school hippie ass shit. The way the band came together. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. You know, like you can't. You know, there are people like I was in a Grateful Dead cover band in Florida in 99,
99.
2000.
No, 2000.
2000, and like we walked the walk, baby. Like we got raided and we went to jail. Like it was like we were in it, but like it was a real thing. Like it all came together. It felt real. We created a real scene. You know, everybody was there not for monetary reasons, but because it just felt right. Until I fucked it up. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. But I love that you guys are doing it right. You know, and you're keeping it going, because everybody, I just feel like that vibe. I mean, Goose, so you're a Goose guy?
I'm a Goose guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Officially
three of
a Goose
us
guy.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
love
one
it.
person not 100%
Okay,
sold.
that's all right. That's all right.
No, I would
tags
be there
along.
with you. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't
I-
seen him.
Well, I
haven't listened much.
full disclosure, I haven't seen him either. We're old fucks. Like, we've
going
seen
to
The
All
Dead
Good?
with Jerry a few times.
What's that?
You know, we've seen a
You
lot
gonna
of
go to All
Fish.
Good?
When is that?
It's June 15th, 16th.
No, I think because we're going to the beach.
I was gonna say I got damn gigs all the time. That's the problem, you know. Good. Yeah, it is good, but it's also shitty when you like other bands because it's hard to get out and see other bands.
Yeah, I'm not in a band, so I can go out and see bands. He can't. Right. But I go see his band, so he sees me.
Right. But he always comes to the lounge and it's like, we got to get these people, we got these, and then I'm always enthralled because he's got good taste. You know, I mean.
Yeah. Like I said, you guys were great. You guys exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Yeah. And we had whiskey feathers in here, so there's a feather.
Oh, those are our homies.
There's a feather motif.
Yeah, we've done shows with them. Yeah.
It just seems right. Yeah. I mean, why? Because they're the roots rock kind of vibe as well. You know. You guys should
those guys are great.
Yeah.
The first song I heard, because they play Enchanted on TMD, but that's one of my favorite songs, period. Like I told Britton, I was like, dude, it's not just my favorite like local song, but I kind of feel that way about your song Electric Blue. It's like, it's great vibe.
Yeah, when you were playing that, he's like, I love this song.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, they were all great. And they're also, I found, so do you write the lyrics?
I write everything.
Jack, nice. So you got the Odyssey thing going, and I dig it. But it seems like each song is a bit of a journey. You know what I mean? Like they all have different kind of sections, and I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Thank you.
Now let me ask. You got something?
No. Good.
All right. Okay, so Miss Lisa.
I know you haven't asked her enough yet.
I haven't. I know, and this might get a little weirdo, and I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible, but I don't know if you've watched any of this show, but I'm very into ancient drumming and the history of drumming and psychedelics and women and drumming and psychedelics and stuff like that.
Seven of our episodes have been just drummers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he likes focusing on the whole show was supposed to be just drummers. Right. Always, all drummers.
Initially, it was a dream of mine to go deep in, because I want to try to talk about drumming in a different light, kind of like UFC took martial arts and made it kind of all of a sudden everybody realized that we were all the same, and you have to know a little bit of every style and that kind of thing. It's the same thing with drumming, but more importantly, drumming is the oldest instrument, and there's a lot of history pre-Christian that talks about women being the first drummers. And so, when I see the kind of primal type setup that you have and the visceral vibe that you're throwing out, plus the roots rock, link that you all have, it always makes me beg the question if you are aware of that history. If you feel it, but have you looked into that?
So I didn't know all of that, but I did know a good bit of it. And it's funny because just yesterday somebody was asking me you like so much different kind of music. What is it you think is the thread? Right. And I said, honestly, at the end of the day, I really like tribal shit. And I because like Chad, I have deep roots in hip hop. I love hip hop, and I feel like a lot of grooves really have influenced me from that genre. But I take it kind of from everywhere. But that is kind of the overarching theme of things that I like. I really like that driving, tribal kind of feeling. And I think it works well with Jack's songwriting, too.
It does.
Because I feel like I'm going to be the self-proclaimed type 2 person of the group. I feel for our song Driver, for example, which we didn't play today, but it's up on Spotify. There's a whole section of that didn't exist, and it actually stemmed from Chad hitting what he thought was a wrong note, and I said, no, stop. I said, do that again, play it again, and I was like, keep playing it, play it over and over and over again, and we now had a whole second jam movement of that song that we play as a result of it. So I feel like that's sort of my contribution and how I work that tribal element.
Yeah, you do have a very tribal linear style playing. It's very primal and tribal. It's a good description of it.
Yeah.
look if you read, for leisure, I'm sure you read, but the book's called When the Drummers Were Women, and it's by Lane Redmond.
It's a good book,
and it's cool. It's pretty shocking. I mean, it's not, but it's fascinating. And for many years I've been into psychedelics and drums, and I always felt like there was a there was a heavier there, and there is. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, like, keep, go down that rabbit hole, and you'll be very pleased. Find that asshole men ran them out. I know, it's crazy. Like the way, like when the Christian church first got started. Now, keep in mind, we love Christianity, we love religion, we're fine with everybody. Like, we don't want to, but interestingly enough, when the Catholic Church and the church organized itself after 300 years after Christ died, they didn't allow women to be in the church or lead the church, and they didn't allow drums in the church. And that's why ancient church music is always organs and, beautiful stuff, because drums were relegated to the battlefield and women were relegated to the sideline, because pre-Christianity, women and drums were part of the spiritual froth that made you link with the gods. It's the Eleusinian mysteries. If you look into that stuff, it's that kind of stuff. Well, the Eleusinian mysteries, that whole thing is, I mean, there's a book called The Immortality Key by Brian Marescu. And
read that.
Well, look, we've contacted him. Like, I told him, like, he sent me a PDF about ancient shamanism in Siberia.
That's so cool.
Because listen, the Kukian and the Maenad women behind the walls of Ulysses, or whatever the hell you call it, I say they have frame drums. They have to. Like, if those ceremonies went off the way that we think they did, and the women ran those ceremonies, they were definitely frame drummers. And, so it's like, that fascinates me. I mean, I love, and then the idea that the drums came, from all these tribes, the tree goes down to hell, up to heaven, you cut it, you use the skin of the yak, and then you figure out your spiritualism. I don't know. So
Brian's very passionate about this.
I'm sorry.
He's got me involved in it too a little bit. It is fascinating.
I really do feel like if people pay attention to rhythm, it's the most important thing of all time. Your heart beats, the big bang, the rhythm of the room. Take your pick. You followed the rhythms down here.
Yes.
Miss Shelby was like, they need bass.
I proclaimed it.
Yeah, I'm saying, but you could tell. And you felt the rhythm that night with my man Jack. You were like, holy shit.
They're all about
what a gift.
I'm telling you.
Every aspect of it.
So I'm sorry. I get rolling, but that's why when you came in with this kind of primal setup, I'm like, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, this
I knew you would. I knew you would.
Well,
and he's been saying
my ultimate, like, number one favorite drummer on earth, past, future, present, is Nikki Glaspie.
Wow.
So she is just a huge, huge inspiration to me. I just saw her on Jam Cruise. She played with Snarky Puppy. She plays with everybody, and she's just so incredible. She's played with Beyonce. Like, she's an absolute beast, and she can sing. And
did you go on Jam Cruise?
Oh yeah, I go every year.
Holy shit.
Go every year.
Hey, so do you know who we were getting in here is Kendall Street Company.
Oh yeah, they're coming on for their first time.
I know. Well, that's why it made me think about it. Because,
yeah.
But the bass player and the drummer, oh my God.
Yeah, we went down the Union Stage a couple months ago, and Solomon talked to them, and they were then they were playing at 8x10 like that later that week. They're like, we can do the show, like, we'll do that and then go do the show at 8x10, and we couldn't do it that day. And now they're on tour, but we talk to them all the time. Like, they're gonna come up. They're great. That was the first. He got me into them recently, and now I'm like obsessed.
I just love, like, it's like you got, like, just the scene. I need the scene.
I love it. Yeah.
And, like, they're a spectacle, and they've got a scene going. And Natalie Brooke Band.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them in. I got Nathan, the drummer, coming in next Monday.
Yeah.
But all that's to say, I love you guys.
Yeah.
I think you guys are great. What a day.
So tell me, I don't. I mean, I haven't. I mean, I probably have, but I haven't really seen an acoustic bass before. So what's up with why? Why did you go that route?
Just because of the fretboard. It's
That's
so
it?
short. Yeah.
They don't make
I don't
an
really.
electric
I'm not
short.
that big of a fan. They do, but they're hard to come by.
Right.
I got one not that long ago. It's definitely a little bit longer, so I'm still trying to get used to it. But
It
because
was
I'm not
still
that big of a
nasty.
fan of how it sounds, but I get a lot of compliments on it.
You're not
so
a big
I-
fan of how that sounds.
Yeah.
She's totally.
That sounded pretty good in the headphones. I was like, oh,
You know,
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed you would
but
say
to be
that.
clear, you usually use like that's what you play with when you guys play
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, nobody has, but in my opinion, I think it works perfect for like if you had a like it just seems to work perfect because she's got the earthy drum,
Yeah.
and so it's more.
It's not it doesn't stand out or anything. It meshes in well, and I
Right.
love how it feels.
Well, that he was sitting in here and he was going. I think you were on your second song, and he was like, or no, maybe they hadn't started. They just did, and you were like, they don't have no bass, huh?
Oh, yeah, no, they
was
were
like,
setting up, and I'm
no,
going,
she's
they
got
don't
a
have
bass.
acoustics.
That's a bass.
And he goes, that's a bass. And I was like, holy shit, yeah. But yeah, they hadn't played, you hadn't played yet.
So, and you guys, do you still host an open mic night?
yes, we do that as our community service for Havre de Grace. It's every second and fourth Thursday at Market Street Brewery.
Nice. What
Yeah.
time?
6:30, and we do theme nights and stuff, just like on Jam Cruise. So
Nice.
every week it's a weird, wacky theme.
And wait a minute, where is that?
Market Street Brewery.
In Havre de Grace.
Yep,
And that's not that far from me. I'm gonna have to start getting up there.
it's super fun.
And the people that
All
play are so
So good.
incredibly gifted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is unbelievable the talent
Yeah.
in
The
that
talent
area.
is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, something in the water. It's crazy.
Even just last week,
Something
there was
in
a
the
guy, Sagine, who's been like popping up all over open mics.
Oh,
Was he from
he's
DC?
got-
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
He's
he-
from
Yeah.
He's great.
So yeah,
Sagine?
he
Yeah.
plays piano and sings like an angel, and I mean the room was silent in the best way. You know,
Nice.
like just one of those people that captures your. Everyone was just like enthralled with it, hanging on every note, every word. It was really really cool. But it's awesome that like we have a place.
Right.
Where
So
we
do you
live
guys
for
get up
that.
and jam with them too, or you
Oh,
just
yeah.
so it's just
Yeah,
you
we-
guys host it and you're up there and people just come up and
Yep, we
play
have
with you?
we have a singing bowl, and it's not like we do a list or anything. We have it by random, so it's kind of like Kill Tony. Like you throw your name in the bowl, and then we do it by random. So
So some people might not get picked that night.
no, everybody gets picked.
Everybody gets
Yeah,
picked.
depending on how many names are in the bowl in the beginning, we're like, all right, we're doing 2 songs or 3 songs tonight, but everybody plays. But it's always at random.
Nice.
That's cool.
No list.
Keep everybody on
No
their
drama.
toes.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And do you also teach like I guess gardening?
Oh yeah, I work. I've been in horticulture my whole life until I worked at Gramophone and
Right.
stuff. I worked at Valley View for a while.
Why
but-
did you take that break and work for Gramophone?
Cause my girlfriend at the time was like, you gotta like get you gotta go to school or something. She was like going to school to be like a psychiatrist or whatever. But
I feel like I may remember these.
oh yeah, I
conversations.
probably like complained to you a lot about it. For sure I did. I was still dating when I knew you. But yeah. I was like, all right, I guess, and Sheffield was right down the street, which I was grateful I went because the guy at Sheffield who was my teacher, he was like in the NSA, and he was like saying some wild stuff.
He's dead now.
He's dead now.
So wow.
But he was saying some interesting things that I was like, all right, this is pretty cool, and and I got all A's, and I was like, I can do math. I sucked at math in high school, but I was like, oh, I can do algebra. I'm like, all right. But yeah, and then I worked for Chesapeake Home Theaters for a while, and then I was like, I'm going to leave this, and I worked for Gramophone for a while, but Gramophone made me realize, like, I wanted to do music.
Yeah.
Because we had that Nashua trip, and, like, we went through the whole thing, and, like, at the end of the week, like, we went to, like, an open mic night. I was like, oh, there's an open mic night here. And I hadn't picked up my guitar in, like, maybe, like, 7 or 8 months. And I played Red House, and the teacher was there. And after he saw me play, he was like, why aren't you doing this? And I didn't have an answer for him. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna quit my job and pursue this. And then I did, and it's been, yeah, I'm here now. So,
Good for
Yeah,
you.
that's awesome. Yeah.
again, you followed the fucking rhythms, and
Yeah, it wasn't because you were a dick.
Right. I'm so happy about that because I really was worried about that. I mean,
no, I've been kind of following you since then. Like, I've been keeping tabs.
Yeah. And, to his credit, he was like, I don't think I was. But,
No, my problem is I'm not a dick. I just like doing things myself.
Yeah.
That's all.
I get that.
And we had that vibe where he would do his own thing. I think we kind of got to the point where we would kind of start and then just meet.
Yes.
On the job, and then we'd be done and we'd go home.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was
There was
very
no
nice.
arguments.
That was I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to tell Mike I'm quitting.
And I had to quit too.
Yeah.
That place, I mean, it got odd. Like, I got suspended once because they said I gave, like, because I
You scared a customer.
yes.
I guarantee
but
it.
it was justified. If I could remember the name, you would remember the guy because you were it was down in like
DC?
Bethesda or something,
Dude.
and he was just a dick. He
Yes.
was real particular. Had this crazy theater set up in this room with a couch, and it was Christmas fucking Eve, and I was still like there at his house, and I was just getting pissed. But I called Justin,
Yeah.
and I was just arguing about it, but I wasn't doing it in front of the dude. But then everybody thought I was. And
Right.
That
Whatever,
clientele was
yeah.
awful.
Oh my god.
Awful.
Well,
Most
look
of
at you
them,
now.
I know, right?
No, yeah, look at all of us now.
Are you
We
good?
made
Or
it.
you got other stuff or what?
If I do, I can come back to it.
All right. So when we start to wrap up, we
Oh,
usually
no. I do.
go.
Just the name, Feather and It's Feather and
gosh
Flask.
sakes.
Like, where did that come from?
We'll let this one tell
Oh,
that.
Shelby.
Me.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
You weren't even in the
Shelby
band.
She wasn't.
She's like, they need
I know,
bass
it's
and
maybe
I
like
have a
the name.
band.
She goes, I'm gonna name this.
So wait a minute. When this bar she was talking about, did you have a name when you were a duo? Did you
Yeah.
go by something?
Yeah.
What?
Feather and Flask.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Let me.
So-
So tell the story.
Yeah, the name came when I was taking their engagement photos out in the woods out in Havre de Grace. And Lisa had a feather and a flask in her hand. And, like, that day we were talking about, like, what are we going to call it? And blah, blah, blah. Like, 2 years before I even joined. And she had both in her hand, and I'm like, let's call it that, Feather and Flask.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's kind of how it came. And then
I
Jack was
like
like,
it.
but how are they going to know who's the feather and who's the flask?
We were,
Lisa
yeah.
was like, it's obvious who is who.
Yeah,
Is it?
I think so.
What do you think?
You're the flask.
She's
That's what they want you to think.
Well, you were giving me a look like, come on, dude. I just figured
I'm
it out.
obviously the feather.
Right, I figured you were like, I'm obviously the flask. But I got it.
No, the feather.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. So so are you a photographer?
Yeah,
Nice.
not like strictly, but
Old
I
school.
do it when it comes
do you
to
do
me.
film or like?
Yeah, I do film. I have a DSLR, but most of the stuff just comes from my phone because I don't feel like carrying stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the sign of the times.
Yeah.
I mean, who needs the hassle of a developing station and shit like that when you can just go with your
You got 48 megapixels in your pocket. Why
Right,
do anything
right.
else?
Although there are film people that are listening right now going, I'll tell you why, because of fucking art. You know. But I hear you.
Another song you played that's your newest single is Lost in Umbra. What is that about?
Oh, that's about surrendering to the present moment, and like being like lost in like the dark night of the soul and whatnot.
Right.
And then I talked about like datura flowers because like it's a flower that blooms at night and it smells like crazy, but it's also incredibly hallucinogenic. And you shouldn't go out there and eat those things.
I said, what's
Is
the name
that,
of the
is
flower?
that fact? Are you not supposed to?
No, you probably
As a
shouldn't.
public service announcement,
Yeah, stay away from it.
you can work with it if you if you know some shamanistic things. But
Yeah.
Right, we got
Do you know what it
Tikal.
is?
Well, no, but we got the manual,
Oh,
so
we
we'll
can
look
read
into
the
it.
manual.
Yeah.
Consult your manual before.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
But I heard about it when I was like 21 working at Valley View. This guy was like, "You ever read the books of the Teachings of Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda?" And I was like, "No." And like he gave me the book, and they do a ritual with a datura plant, and they have to like take it out into the desert and like water it and grow it, and then until it's mature, and then harvest the roots, and they pound the roots up, and they get 2 lizards and sew one of its mouth shut and one of its eyes shut, and they pound the root and they rub it on their temples, and then they divine, and they're like, oh, they see the future and whatnot.
Wow.
It's a pretty wild book, but
that's some heavy shit.
yeah. So that was kind of like where some of the lyrics came from, but really it was about I was like, well, I've just got to surrender to the present moment,
And to be clear, the term umbra refers to dark, or it's like...
Yeah, it's like the darkest dark.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I love that name. Good name.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I just want to comment on the lyric. I think, what was that?
Oh, yeah,
that was,
right. He
that was
loved
Light On. I love the end of that song. Because you just get into it. You're saying, we are all the same, we are all the same, we are all the same, we are all insane.
Yeah.
I love it. That is like, I mean, that's just the theme of this place.
Right, and it's it's such a brilliant little lyric because it obviously fits. It makes sense. We're all the same. It was just brilliant. And right when you did that, he's like, "I love that."
Yeah, that was a great ending to that tune.
It was good stuff.
All right,
Brian. So when we wrap up, we like to go around and talk movies. So if you can narrow it down. Doesn't have to be
Which could
live or die.
take another hour.
Right. Doesn't have to be live or die. And but give me your top 3 movies if you had to narrow it down.
Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
That's 3 or 4 for Shawshank.
Probably Fight Club.
Oh,
that's my wife.
Okay.
What can I say? Godfather is pretty good. I'll go with those.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's a good one. Now, hold on. So, Fight Club, were you familiar with the novel beforehand? Or
No,
did you just...
it came out in 99. I was like, 12, 13
Holy
years old.
shit. Whoa, Davis and I saw that shit in the theater in Florida.
Yeah, but that still had a sixth sense moment for me, that movie. Like, I didn't know that shit. I didn't know anything until the end. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Then watching it again and again, you
Yeah.
pick more things up. It's wild.
As a matter of fact,
Yes.
It's cool.
Because I didn't read the book either.
Yeah, no.
I did since then, but before it,
Chuck Palahniuk? That's what dude's name.
Chuck
Yeah.
is right.
He wrote
I don't
something
know.
else.
Yeah.
That's big.
But that ending, man, that fucked me up. In
Yeah.
real time, I'm like, wait a second, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of those repeat viewing. Yeah, much like Sixth Sense, a little bit different, but same kind of rug pull style.
Mm-hmm.
And Godfather, do you go 1, 2, either
Well,
or?
I think they go the first one's the best, and then the second one's second best, and then the third one is you watch it because you gotta see how it's all tied up.
Actually, the last guy that was in here, Mr. John, I say I go to bat for. I mean, part 1 and 2 are the masterpieces, but part 3, in my opinion, gets a smidge of a bum rap. I mean, I get it. I don't think Sofia Coppola is a good actress. She's a great filmmaker.
Yeah, but I mean,
but the story was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole Vatican, all that kind of corruption and bullshit is
yeah.
based on real shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pull, man.
Thanks, man.
Good pull. All right, Miss Lisa, what do you think?
My favorite movie of all time is Death Proof.
Wow, look at you.
Uh-huh.
What a strange pull for the favorite of all time.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's my favorite movie of all time. My second favorite is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's my
Look at this
favorite.
guy, yeah.
Dude, I saw
Yeah.
that movie 3 times in one day at the
All
West
the hours
Street
of the day.
Theater, and I saw it 7 times, all by myself. I was
Yeah.
single back then. I would
Yeah,
just
man.
go see that movie.
I'm
all
just
the
a
time.
I love Jim
Love
Carrey
that
also.
fucking-
I love
oh
him
my
in a
God, it's my
serious
favorite.
role.
It's the movie that made me fall in love with Kate Winslet too.
Yeah.
Not even Titanic.
No, I was saying
Right.
not Titanic.
Well, kind
Into
of,
it.
but then I saw that.
It
If we were
sealed
like
the
if
deal.
we have 2 boys, if one of them would have been a girl, she would 100% have been named Clementine.
Yeah. And then my third one is hopefully you can help me with the name of this movie. That drum movie where the guy
Whiplash.
Whiplash. Thank you.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
I can't think of
Oh,
it. I was
yeah.
why can't I
man,
name
I
it?
still
So
have
Whiplash
not seen
is-
Whiplash.
You haven't
What?
seen it?
Nah, J.K. Simmons. I
Yeah, I
still
can
haven't
bring it,
seen
baby.
it.
I'll-
Oh, yeah.
It streams. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't need you to bring me a DVD.
Oh, I
think
know. I'm so old. I'll bring you the Blu-ray.
My honorary fourth is
Yeah, go ahead.
that maybe you can remember the name of this. The movie with the drummer that goes deaf.
Sound of
Oh yeah, that's
sound
a good
of
one. The
silence?
Sound of Metal.
Oh, Sound of Metal.
The
Yeah,
sound of Metal.
That
Yeah,
one.
that's good.
I love
Yeah, that was
movie.
Yeah,
good.
we watched
Yeah.
that at
That's the dude
Josh's
from
house.
Rogue One. isn't it?
Honorable
Yeah,
mention.
yeah.
Yeah, he was in
Yep.
Rogue One.
Yeah, that's a great one. Now, the first one you said was what was the first
Death
one?
Proof.
Death Proof.
Death Proof. Okay, so what about that? Like, did you like both? Like, that was the Grindhouse. It was
Yes.
Death Proof and Planet Terror.
And Planet Terror.
Right.
I loved both of them.
Me too.
Death Proof was the one with.
I mean, you had to
Kurt
get
Russell.
it. You had to understand
Yeah.
what they were going for.
And I
But-
saw that in
Right.
theaters. I saw the double feature.
That's fun.
In theaters. That was the first time in my life I'd ever seen like a double
Wow,
feature
I
in
didn't
a
see it in
theater.
the theater. Yeah, that's
So that was
fun.
very cool. And I mean,
And
I
they
love
had the
Rodriguez,
commercials in
too.
between and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
all the
wow,
commercials. It was
that's
really
awesome.
special. Yeah. But Death Proof really hit for me. I mean, I love character assassination. Like I just love that. Build it up, make me fall in love with you.
And
I
how about
also,
the woman stunt?
Right?
That
Yes.
lady, man. I
yes,
mean, God.
it's cool that it's like there's like female victims in the beginning, but then like the women are the
Oh my
ones that
gosh.
just absolutely
Stuntman
empowered
Mike.
badasses.
Kurt Russell,
Stuntman Mike,
God, he's-
Yeah,
he's
Kurt
so
Russell's
good.
one of my favorite
Oh,
actors. I love
100%.
him.
100%.
But yeah, that whole film is just
I
immaculate.
gotcha. All
That's my
right, so I
fave.
see your style. I dig it.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jack, you're up.
Star Wars is in its own category.
Thank God.
No, that can be.
Someone had to say it.
Would you put one at the top? Because Empire's always been my favorite until Rogue One came out. And
Yeah.
Rogue One kind of
I
took
don't know
over.
if I can put one at the top. I really love The Phantom Menace, but that's because I saw it in theaters as a kid. And it was
Listen,
like,
this is a phenomenon.
Yeah.
This is a phenomenon. And
I
let
do
me tell
too.
you.
I love it, but I saw it on the heaviest liquid acid.
Right.
Listen,
We're in Florida, and
Dude,
this
I was so fucking whacked.
You lasted, though. Who left? Somebody had...
Danon left.
ended up in the fucking wild.
Naboo.
Yeah,
Like he thought he was in Naboo. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
called the next day for the payphone. Like he slept in the woods.
Right.
Wow.
But let me tell you, it's kind of a phenomenon.
Like during the Gungan, when they went to Gungan City, when Jar Jar was like on trial, like because we were in like the theater, like the stadium seating, like I was on that council. Like,
It was an IMAX.
yes,
Stadium
dude,
seating.
it was so awesome.
But what's
But
funny?
I've always had a special place in my heart.
But what's funny about that is you're I mean, you're not crazy younger, but like a lot of the younger cats, it seems their passion for Star Wars is Phantom, Attack of the Clones, and Sith.
I saw
Rather
the old
than
one.
the original.
Small Predator.
But the soundtrack for Phantom Menace was probably like one of the best. I mean, Duel of the
feel like-
Oh, the
Fates.
Duel of Fates.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's
it
what I
was,
saying,
it's
dude.
just I was like, my heart was pounding. I was like 10. I'm like,
Right.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite characters are Darth Maul and the
Yeah.
Predator, which is why I made that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, do you see? I
That was so
love that.
sick.
That's my favorite creation.
We played a May the 4th show.
Oh, that Rowdy Rooster.
Rowdy Rooster Festival, and we did Duel of the Fates. And
Yeah.
Wow,
we
that's
did,
fun.
Yeah, we,
Really?
like,
Yeah,
incorporate.
we
what
Is
is
there
it?
like a recording of that?
It's on. I have it.
You
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
But it's
Yeah.
Cantina's song too. It
I was
became-
just gonna say that.
So
Yeah.
we did, yeah. We worked Cantina song in
You
the
didn't
Lost
do
in
Yum
Umbra.
Num.
Oh, the Ewok.
No.
Have you ever heard of a band called Lawrence the Band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do Psy Snoodle, like a version of the song from Jabba's Palace.
Oh yeah.
And it's so good.
The
Like,
Return of the Jedi, right?
yes,
Right,
but
right.
it's like funk, and she sings it like whatever language.
She learned the
Psy
language.
Snoodles sing it.
Psy
She
Snoodles.
opens up the song with it. They're a
Nice.
great band.
Right.
They're
That's
a
awesome.
Oh,
great
yeah.
funk jam band.
So
Okay,
wait,
so
did you
we-
give us three? You
No,
said
no, we got
Well,
sidetracked on Star Wars.
Fight Club for sure.
Wow, all
I
right.
could quote that movie like verbatim, probably. Fear and Loathing and
one of the
Fear
greats.
and Loathing.
what's another one? I feel like my favorite movies are ones I can just watch all the time, right? There was another one.
Comfort food, any kind of,
Did you ever see The Little Buddha with
the little Buddha.
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves,
Reeves.
where he's
No,
the Buddha?
no, but I know about
That
it.
movie's awesome.
Is it?
Little
It
Buddha.
is. It's kind of funny if you watch it, but when I watched it, I was like, "This is awesome."
That's so funny. That's one of those ones that I remember. I mean, did that come out in the late 90s or
Sounds
2000s?
like that, yeah.
I mean, it was something like, I want to say we were in Florida, but Keanu Reeves and Buddha, even though I dig it, like I love Point Break and I love Keanu Reeves, I just never looked into it.
Yeah, and
I'm
then,
like,
then he
I
did
don't
The
know.
Matrix. Like after that, I think.
So maybe he was on a
That movie's from
philosophical run.
1993. Little Buddha.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, Keanu
Wow.
I
Reeves.
didn't realize it was from that long.
Bridget Fonda.
Wow.
I've never seen it.
I thought it was like 99.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Well, no, I've never seen it either, but
It's
I
a
never
wild
heard.
movie.
You're the first person I've ever heard recommend it.
I
That's
would watch it
awesome.
with a
You're
joint.
the first person I've ever heard mention it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm a video store guy, but
Right.
so Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Was that your first venture into Hunter Thompson, or yeah?
Yep, and then I read the book and everything, and my buddy from California told me about it, and I was like, this is awesome.
And if you dug that movie, Terry Gilliam directed that. Have you looked into any of his other films?
What are his other films?
Well, so he made 12 Monkeys.
yeah, so I love 12 Monkeys.
right.
Yeah.
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits.
Yeah.
It's an
That's
early
Time Bandits.
80s
That's
movie.
an old movie.
But one of the ones, if you dug 12 Monkeys and you dig that style, Brazil.
Oh, Brazil.
It's
That's
from
Robert De Niro.
84, I think. But it is out there. And it's great. And it's a Terry Gilliam masterpiece.
Cool, I'll
Brazil.
check it out.
Yeah. Look into the director's cut. There's 2 cuts, and it was a very famous story. Like the first cut of Brazil was the studio cut. He hated it. And many years later, they released the director's cut. And I think it's very available. Like, I don't think it's any, it'll be streaming right alongside. But look for the director's cut of Brazil.
Okay.
If you want. You don't have to do shit. Okay, Miss Shelby, what do you got?
Well, my favorite of all time has got to be The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Nice. All
Just
right.
because it used to scare the crap out of me as a kid.
Sure.
We watched it every Christmas Eve at my great aunt's creepy basement down in Highlandtown. And
What
I remember,
scared you? The monkeys?
Well, my older cousin told me about the whole Munchkin thing.
Right.
Oh.
So we'd sit there and try and find it.
Right.
Right.
And I'd just be
Are
shaking
you talking
in my
about the
boots.
hanging munchkin?
Yeah.
Now, do you know that that's been disproven?
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Still
of
makes it
course,
creepy.
yes.
It's definitely creepy and it's definitely weird,
yeah.
but I think we've talked about it, right, on the
Right.
show.
I think so, yeah.
But it's funny because everybody that talks about Wizard of Oz ends up bringing
Right.
up the poor
Have
Munchkin
you ever done the
allegedly
Pink
killing
Floyd,
himself.
The Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
is that
yeah.
not... I mean, let's hover there for a second. Let me just tell you something. So we're old as fuck, right? Well, we're not... Wheel is old as fuck. We're pretty old. In the 90s, we heard that you could, on the Third Lion's Roar of the VHS tape, push play on the CD player and it'll line up perfectly with Dark Side of the Moon. And then, so for many years we do that. We're on acid. We're all like, this is the most amazing thing ever. And then 20 years later, they totally deny it. Like, they're like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It's
so perfect.
It's too right. And they have to be fucking
They
with
didn't
us.
deny it. Roger Waters just said no. And he didn't say it with...
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better
Yeah.
if it was only Waters.
Yeah, he just said no.
Because
and he kind of was
he's
very
a-
vague about it too. He was like, "What? Are you crazy? Like, how? That would be impressive."
I feel like Waters, I don't know. Like, I have conflict. I love Roger Waters, but
I just love to believe
he's-
that they did
He's
plan
such a
it.
dick, and it's
It's
like
a little unhinged.
because of him. It's like I get it. You don't want the fame, but I don't know. Waters, I think he's brilliant, but he's also a bit of a dick. It bothers me.
Well,
But who the hell am I? All right,
Yeah.
back to Miss Shelby. What we talk Wizard
So
of
Wizard of
Oz.
Oz.
Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, just the best. I love her. Also, the other film, A Star Is Born.
Oh,
Like Lady Gaga did
yeah.
the most recent one, but that was like the fourth one. But Judy Garland's one is my favorite.
Judy Garland's
Oh,
your
the
favorite star.
original.
She's my
Star
favorite
Is
female
Born.
singer. That's the second one with Judy.
Oh,
So do you dig the Chris Christopherson one with Barbara
I didn't
Streisand?
know that.
I haven't seen that one.
That might be the third one then, because that's the
Yeah.
one before.
And I like the Lady Gaga one. That one was good.
I thought it was nice. Yeah, it
Judy's-
was.
Out of the ones I've seen, is my favorite. I saw the first one. I forgot the main actress in that one.
So why Judy Garland?
She can just belt like nothing. Like
Her voice is the most
She's my
powerful.
favorite
It's-
female
yeah.
singer. She's just
Oh, really?
fantastic.
So John Crockett, the guy I was telling you about that we had in here last week, the guy that makes drumsticks.
Yeah.
Like his resume is insane, and one of the
stories.
women that he played with at the Civic Center in Baltimore was Judy Garland.
So cool.
But it was when she was like kind of a mess. So she was like laying down on the stage, and people like he just said it was clear as day. Just somebody booed, and she just like looked at him with the mic and was like, "Oh, I know."
Yeah, he said that her head was right beside him. He was drumming, and he said her head was right beside him, and he heard somebody boo, and he said she looked up and went, "I know." And he was like, I said, "Damn, man." Right.
She's hilarious.
But
So Star is Born, Wizard of Oz.
Star is Born, the Judy Garland.
Star is Born off the list. I'd say Nightmare Before Christmas. I definitely wore out a few of those tapes as a kid. Like 2 or 3 of them died on me. And then you get, with Tim Burton, like Pee-wee, love that. And
Love Tim Burton.
Beetlejuice, like Danny Elfman's one of my favorite. Just
The Darkened Theater.
Did you just say Pee-wee?
Yeah.
So I just heard you said you saw the documentary.
I saw like 3/4 of it.
So everybody just found out along with me that Cyndi Lauper sang the theme song. Like that just came out. She just like disclosed that in her autobiography or something.
The theme song
to Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, somebody just told me. Maybe you just told me that. But yeah, I never heard of it.
And what about
my third is
Hairspray?
Death Proof because oh my god,
Wow.
She showed it to me the whole time I'm watching. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, you want to see my favorite movie ever of all time? And she was like, this is now my favorite
So
movie
good.
ever of all
so
time.
good. Think
That
of it
and
daily.
you always make us watch Hairspray and
I love Hairspray.
The original?
Both.
Or
Yeah.
anything. Any
I went to Perry Hall,
Hairspray.
The
so
one
watching
with John
the original
Travolta
is
is
a little-
also great.
It is great.
Yeah.
That's why I said both are great. We're good. One of our dream white whales is John Waters.
Yeah.
Like we've got a
That'd be
couple,
cool, yeah.
a couple.
We're very
lines.
close to getting
yeah.
him in here. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good
Secure
talk.
Yeah.
It'd be a great talk. All right, so
That was awesome.
you got anything else or?
What movie wise?
Yeah, like,
No.
All right.
No, everybody knows our favorites, and they always change anyway.
Miss Shelby, you gave me 3, right?
Yes, sir.
What is it? All right.
It was Wizard of Oz, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Death Proof.
Nightmare
and she
Before
removed
Christmas.
Star is Born, Judy
Yeah.
Garland from the list.
Yes.
Nice. All right, well,
We
this
might
was
throw it in.
great.
Redacted.
So let's talk about where to find you guys.
Oh, well,
Like online,
yeah.
social media. Plug yourself.
We got Instagram at Feather and Flask Music, and then we're on Facebook. You should join our Facebook group, Feather and Flask and Friends. We put like all the open mic night
cool.
stuff in there,
Nice.
and other cool gigs.
We can add all that stuff to our calendar also.
Yep, we're on SoundCloud, Spotify, and all the other streaming platforms. And
Maybe YouTube channel too.
Oh, yeah, we
Feather and
got-
Flask, I
yep.
think.
Yeah.
got a YouTube channel, and what was the other thing I want to say? I can't remember. Well, yeah. You got anything?
Chad, you got anything you want to say?
I think you covered
Upcoming
it.
shows,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh,
I would say upcoming shows after June 10th.
What do we have,
After
guys?
June 10th, we have Double Groove Brewing.
The 28th, I want to say.
Yes.
June
It's a
28th,
Saturday.
June 28th.
Yeah, it's always a good time, good crowd.
I think is that when we're going to be at the beach for a year?
it is the 28th,
making
but I don't
Late
know
Night
if you're
Figures?
trying to switch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have tickets to see Goose at Madison Square Garden. that night.
Damn!
Oh,
Look at you,
Man,
guys.
it's been so long since I've seen a band indoors.
It's been a minute.
And and in fact, you know what I think it was? I think it was Fish
Hampton.
at Hampton.
Oh wow.
That was
And
2018.
yeah.
Saw
I don't
Goose
think I've
there,
seen a
too.
band indoors since then.
Wow.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, 6/28. I play Fagers.
Yeah, so that will be.
That
we're all
sucks.
going to be at the beach.
I'll get there though.
Yes.
It'll
One
happen.
day. One day.
Yeah, you guys play at Elkton Music Hall. Stages.
Stages.
Yeah.
Yep. We did.
What about
Brandon.
album? Do you guys?
We're
have-
working on an album
working
right
on
now.
it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Hopefully that'll be done sometime this year. You know?
It better.
I hope so.
Good lord.
Do you know how many songs?
I think it's gonna be 10 or 11.
9.
Nice.
And I'm assuming we've heard some of them.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, Wither Away, which we played today, will not be on the album. That'll be
No.
on the next one.
But
Nice.
Light On will be, and Electric Blue and Welcome Home, they're all on there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great stuff, man. I love your guys' vibe, and just keep doing it.
And remember to review us wherever you're listening to this show.
Yeah.
Review, and go to their websites, and go to anywhere they're located and review them. But review, comment, share.
Like,
share their
subscribe,
stuff,
share.
our stuff, share everything. Engage, engage, engage.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. All right. Stay sane, Baltimore.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good stuff.
sound begin to transcend, begin to transcend.
This one's called Light On.
This pain is necessary. Hurt and set me free. Forever only exists. Separate from me. rest your heart. Center to stay, 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 center to stay. Oh, we all deserve someone who will keep the light on. the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. We're all insane.
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.